right, what's up, everybody? It is time for another episode of ATOWN Rundown, which is unofficially brought to you by the great taste of Miller Lite beer. If you don't have one, go and grab one. Pause this podcast. Come back and join us when you have one in your hand. We got a lot to unpack. Like always, we got more Atlanta news going on. It seems like every fucking week, every fucking day, almost, there's something new going on in Atlanta. But what I want to zone in on right now is the trade that took the NBA by storm that kind of saw coming, kind of didn't see coming. As we all know, here in Atlanta, Trae Young no longer plays for us. And because of that, we got CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. So I think right now we need to kind of zone in on how the Hawks have been doing, how CJ McCollum's been doing. I'll tell you, a couple of days ago, they played Boston, and it was a god-awful, piss-poor game. And then another heartbreak loss against Milwaukee. And what I'm seeing out of CJ McCollum is I see a lot of capability. I see him, especially in the game against the Bucks. There were a lot of opportunities. They were kind of clicking on defense. They were getting everything done, but they weren't executing when the opportunity was there. And what I'm seeing from CJ McCollum is the same thing, the same talking points people were saying about Trae Young, like, oh, he's a ball hug. Oh, he takes unnecessary shots. He doesn't, go to the open man. He wants all the glory on him. He doesn't play defense. All the things they were saying about Trae Young is something that I'm now actively seeing come out of CJ McCollum. So it's almost like we traded a player with the exact same mentality, but not the same ability. And that's what we're getting out of CJ McCollum.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to say it's only been a week. It's it's been a little over a week.
But a lot happens in a week when you're in the NBA. A lot.
And I agree that the way that Bucks game ended was it didn't look good. Like him taking the ball down himself, never looking to pass. He loses the dribble for a second because he should have gotten rid of it while everyone was transitioning over. He's forced to put up a terrible shot. Game ends. We lose by 2. And that game was ugly as hell. Like that. And I'm
saying for him right now, there's a lot of people in Atlanta, when they heard about this, they're like, why are we doing this? CJ McCollum is not him. He's not the guy. So why would you play the way you are, kind of like feeding their fire and kind of proving these talking points that they're saying against you? Why wouldn't you come out here and try to be more of a team player, try to move the ball around? Like, we could have won that fucking game if he would have just passed the fucking ball.
We could have, but we shouldn't have. Like, we missed 21, the first 21 3-point attempts we missed.
Yeah.
We didn't hit a 3 until it was almost the very end of halftime. And it was ugly, man. And it was like, once they got to like 16 missed threes, me and my wife were watching it, and I was just like, they gotta hit the next one. They have to.
They didn't.
This never happens. This never happens.
Yeah.
Like, they're an NBA team.
It was not as ugly. It was not as ugly as the Boston game, though. It wasn't.
No, the Boston game was bad. And that was like a sold-out game on a Saturday at home.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was terrible, and also the Hawks have played the least amount of home games out of the entire league, and they've been really bad at home. So they got to figure that out. I don't know what's going on. Home cooking's getting, weighing them down or something. Or maybe, you're at home, you're relaxed, you're not focused on the game. Like, sometimes when you're on the road and, you're just with the team, you're at the hotel, you go out to eat with the team, you talk about the games and stuff. You're kind of forced to be around each other. And some teams play better on the road like that, especially in basketball.
And I'm saying, too, like, I think up next we got Memphis. And, like, you got to do something against Memphis because statistically they're the worst team in the league, or one of them. But, like, unfortunately, right now, the Hawks are one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, they're not looking good. And it's like, thank God we got this Pelicans pick, man, because, they're going to do us right. They're going to suck, and we're going to get a lottery pick. But if we're bad enough and we end up in the lottery, I think we give up our lottery pick, like that actually belongs to the Hawks, will go to the Spurs. I think it's going to the Spurs anyways, but we don't want it to be in the lottery. We don't want to give the Spurs a lottery pick. So, I mean, I think a lot of this is, they're not gelling yet. They haven't really figured out how to play well together yet with the new guys. I think Corey Kispert's been all right. I think he's been fine. Like, he can shoot the 3 pretty reliably, it seems like so far, which is, that's great to have on the wing. Like, we always need guys like that, especially the way that Luke Kennard's played this year. We were expecting him to be just like a dead-eye 3-point shooter like he has been his whole career, but he hasn't been. So that helps. And then, the Jalen Johnson not really looking like himself when him and McCollum are on the floor together. I think that they got to clean that up a lot. Seems like this last game, Nikhil and Jalen both had great scoring games. But we got to figure out how we fit CJ in with that as well, and not to hinder how the team's playing together. The other part of this is Quinn Snyder's problem. He's got to figure this out. And we're starting to lose patience with Quinn Snyder, because when he came here,
you see how defeated he looked after the Boston game too? Holy
yeah,
shit.
man. I mean, and that's not a good sign. And it's like, I felt good about us signing Quinn Snyder, and he even wanted to start mid-season when we fired Nick McMillan, where we could have just went with an interim coach for the rest of the year. He said, "Nah, man, I'm not even going to wait. I'm coming in now. I want to get started. I feel good about this." So I thought he was eager to get in, and I felt like that was a good sign of what he could do here, and like his passion for playing, coaching for this team. But it's getting to the point where it's like, when are we going to see success? And I'm not saying like, oh, well, Trae's gone, y'all should be the best team in the league now. And you see that kind of dumb shit on Twitter constantly. But like, well, I'm going to give it some time. But if this isn't looking up in the next month, I mean, because we're going to the All-Star break in a month, man. Yeah. So like, if it's not looking good, then
very close.
Then Quinn Snyder's on the trouble watch.
And I think another thing, if you want CJ to stop looking like a ball hog, there's a lot of fundamentals that got to go on in the practice room. I think you kind of got to reduce his on-ball time just a little bit. I think you got to run more off-ball actions like pin downs and flare screens to work him to your advantage. And you got to pair him with somebody who's like an initiator on the other team's offense more than somebody who's just another fucking scorer. Like they can't be going at it that same way. And you gotta try to just get wins. Even if we won in Milwaukee and it was an ugly win, wins are what matters right now. So however you can generate wins for this team, you need that to happen. And you're not going to have it when you're taking the ball and running all the way to the other side of the court, missing every open man there is, and then missing the shot.
But, listen to what you just said. I mean, you're absolutely right. But like CJ coming over here and only being with the team for a week and a half or whatever, like, what does he know how to do on this offense right now? He's kind of doing what he knows how to do, which is, okay, well, I know that I can create my own shot and I can score points. Well, no, he is. It's just he's doing it too much, and like he's not. Yeah. He's not out there.
Because to the credit of that, before we started this, I did ask you. He does have about 19 points off the bench right now, like as average. So
yeah, somewhere around there, like
he's
17,
the worst
18, 19.
scorer in the league right now. It's not like he's terrible in that. But I mean,
he's always been a good scorer.
I will say maybe that is a good point. Like, okay, yeah, he's only been here like a week and a half. Maybe he hasn't built the trust with you other guys yet. Maybe he
just doesn't know like exactly
them,
what they're doing, who he should be looking for. Like, when they're showing us this defense, like what's the plan here? And like where other guys on the team who've been playing all year long together, like they know that kind of stuff already. They practice
also,
it every day.
As a professional, like like, hey, I just got traded to this team. Maybe I should study some tape. Maybe I should take practice kind of seriously. Like,
well, for all we know, he is
something that you should know.
For all we know, he is. But like, I'm not out on CJ just yet. Like, hopefully he can be a good piece of this team. But that's what he needs to be. He needs to be a good piece. By the way, this is the first time I think in his career he's ever come off the bench.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that he's got to adjust to, and not that matters. I've always been like, when it comes to NBA basketball, it's not about who starts the game. It's about who finishes the game. Mm-hmm. And clearly Quinn wants him out there finishing the game. But who knows? After that bullshit that he did on Monday, maybe Quinn says, nah, man, you're not playing the final, minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Well, sometimes that's what players need. Sometimes they need to not be that guy. They need to not be the starter. They need to learn. And also, like, hey, if you're coming off the bench, why don't you use that time on the bench to watch your players and see who's doing what and see what you can do when your number gets called, when the buzzer goes off and you get subbed in. Why don't you figure it out then, buddy?
Yeah, I agree, man. But I'm also not going to shit on him too much. Like, in a month, or like once he's been here for a month, and he's still doing that, yeah, I'm going to start shitting on him. But not yet. Not yet.
For those of you listeners who don't know Jeremy and Mai's dynamic, we've been like this with each other for close to 10 years now. Jeremy is the very and I adore this, and I love this about him, and I'm very envious of this. He is the most faithful to Atlanta sports team person there is. He will absolutely
to a fault sometimes.
Ever. To a fault. He will never shit on the team. He will never be critical about them. And sometimes it's almost like he's not being honest, but he will reach the breaking point where finally he'll reach the breaking point and be like,
I was very excited about Dwight Howard coming here.
Yeah.
Okay. That was me. I was the only guy. Me and 3 black ladies on Facebook were excited about it, and that was about it. And we were all wrong.
Excited about Desmond Ridder,
I was optimistic about him. Marcus Mariota, he sucked. So that kind of he set
because
the bar
when
low.
people say opposites attract, that is like the root of our friendship, because he'll sit there and he'll tell you how great this losing team is, and I'll be like, Jeremy, they're starting to suck. Be like, no, they don't suck. They're the best team in basketball. And then
very
finally,
convincing too.
Then 3 months down the line, he'll be like, you know what, Joey, they kind of suck. And I'm like, I've been fucking telling you.
Yeah,
I've been telling you.
Yeah. Hey, but sometimes I am right. Sometimes I am right, and I'm good at selling this shit, man. Like I look up enough things.
What's great?
What?
What's great is when I'm wrong. What's great is when the team turns around and you're like, I fucking told you, Joey. And I'm like, yeah, cool.
That's right.
That's
right.
Good. I like to be wrong.
Wait till we get to the new Falcons head coach. See what I do.
Oh, wait till we get the Braves season. Oh my God. Because I will shit on the Braves. I am so critical on the goddamn. I'm mean to the Atlanta Braves, but Jeremy's just like, nah, dude, they're the best team in baseball until we don't make the playoffs. And you're like, oh, we got it next year.
In all honesty,
okay,
man, we could have a roster that's worth going, like rooting for to the World Series.
One of our guys just broke his hand and the season hasn't even started yet.
All right. We'll be all right. We'll get to that down the road. In a couple weeks, we'll be talking about the roster that they put together.
But before we talk about the Braves, let's talk about this Kevin Stefanski hire, which I'll tell you, when it first happened, I was not excited about. I was like, fuck, why would we hire somebody from the Cleveland Browns? But then I started looking into it. In his tenure there, he did win Coach of the Year twice. He did take the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs twice. He seems to be a very defensive-minded coach, and I feel like with the defense we have right now,
he's an offense guy.
Well, I mean, but look what he's done with Myles Garrett and everything, look
what Myles Garrett does no matter who's there. I mean,
but I'm saying, like, it seems like he knows defense as well as everything else. And like the defense we have is a very good starting point for anybody in the league, for any head coach, whether you're brand new or you're a veteran. Like the defense we have right now is an incredible starting point for any football team. And the only thing I worry about from him, and we can get our points across here, I worry about his development with quarterback, and I think it's just because he's been through quarterback hell with the whole Watson thing, and then this year having to go through the quarterbacks he went through, going through Dylan Gabriel, then trying to develop Shador and everything. Is it fair to say that outside of his playoff years, he hasn't really been given a fair shot in Cleveland because they seem like a fucking cursed team to begin with?
1,000%, dude. Okay, yeah. I think when we talk about Coach of the Year, two-time Coach of the Year, which, by the way, I challenge anyone to show me anyone else who's an active coach in the last 15 years who's been Coach of the Year twice. There isn't one. It's only Kevin Stefanski.
You're doing it with the piss poor Browns. Like you're doing it with the Cleveland
and I want to bring
Browns,
up this point,
dude.
like about it being with the Browns. Like what makes it more impressive? Like, you and I, we've played Madden before, right? You ever go through a season on all Madden and you win Coach of the Year? That's basically what he was doing. He was playing on, on fucking expert mode. You know, like it was tough for him up there.
And literally the reason why I'm even saying he's defensive minded is because like even this past season, all he had was defense. All he could rely on was defense. And you can say like all he relied on was Myles Garrett, but no, like I mean, Myles Garrett is one player on a stacked defense. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you think about the way that Cleveland, like what they handed him when he got there. He had Baker Mayfield, and he broke the playoff drought from like 2004 and took them to the playoffs in 2020. Then they shipped Baker Mayfield out of there, and then it's just been a carousel. They do the Deshaun Watson trade, which was terrible. I think he's played like 19 games over the last 4 seasons or something, 3 or 4 seasons, and he hasn't been good when he did play. You're paying him $230 million. You're paying Myles Garrett every penny that they have, and he actually deserves it. With no argument there. No argument there. But the roster that they've built, that the GM, I think his name's Andrew Barry, could be wrong about that, but like the team that he built for Kevin Stefanski to be that way, and then he goes to the playoffs again with Joe Flacco, and that season was just so improbable for them to get there. Coached to a playoff win in 2020, albeit he had COVID during the game, so he had to be in his basement and like call in, like to tell the team what to do. So, but I think that's very impressive. And everyone brings up like, and I've seen so many overreactions here in Atlanta of people saying like, you fired a losing coach so you could go hire a losing coach. This is a very different situation. This is a very different situation.
It seems like he's gotten the Browns to the playoffs more than Raheem got the Falcons to the playoffs.
Absolutely. And, and think about the division that the Browns play in. They got to play the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Like, our division's not like that.
South. Well, I'll tell you, the NFC South, I think
we beat each other up, but like the team.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the NFC South is a very competitive division in the sense of the division itself, because all the teams in the division are pretty fucking even at this point in time.
Yeah, for sure. Evenly mediocre. Yes, but the Falcons, I would say, and this is hard to argue if you're anybody arguing with me about this. Falcons have the most talented roster.
Yeah, they do. And I really think we just got to – I think if we clean up the quarterback situation, if we figure out what we're going to do with Cousins, what we're going to do with Penix, I don't see Cousins staying. I really don't. I feel like that's what was going on with the restructure. I don't know what's going on there.
So he could be cut and go play somewhere.
But the thing is, when we talk about quarterbacks and we talk about Stefanski, and then we have to maybe eventually face the music that they're either going to have to draft a second-round quarterback, get a free agent quarterback, make some crazy trade for a quarterback, or wait till Penix gets healthy and try to transition him back into quarterback. We just went over his quarterback development, how it's been. Like, he had Baker Mayfield, who was great, but couldn't turn it into a championship team. Then he had Deshaun Watson.
In 1 year?
Failed. But what I'm saying is, after the whole Deshaun Watson thing, like, how have we seen Stefanski, like, kind of
that's where everything turned.
Do a quarterback,
So you said like draft like a second round quarterback, or like, let's say, a late round quarterback. I think that'd be Stefanski's worst nightmare, because that's what happened to him in Cleveland this year. They drafted Dylan Gabriel third round and Shador fifth round, and he had to play both of them. And it was terrible. So let me name off all the quarterbacks that have played
under Stefanski.
Yeah, at the Browns. Okay, this is a lot, and I want you to keep count of these as I say these. All right,
I'll tell you if they're good or bad as well.
Baker Mayfield,
great quarterback.
Jacoby Brissett,
terrible quarterback.
Deshaun Watson,
okay quarterback, shitty person.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson,
no fucking idea who he is.
Joe Flacco,
legend.
PJ Walker,
no idea.
Jeff Driscoll,
who the fuck is that?
Nick Mullins,
what the fuck?
Case Keenum,
I remember Case Keenum.
Him. Jameis Winston,
oh God.
Bailey Zappi,
I remember that motherfucker.
Dylan Gabriel,
not good,
and Shador Sanders.
Just started. So you just listed 13 quarterbacks.
Yeah. And Shador Sanders, I'm going to say, this year was ass. Okay, well, you know what his QBR was this year?
Okay, but you're saying
18.
Ass for
18.
You're saying ass. You're saying ass for a brand new quarterback. Like,
I agree, but I'm saying this because I'm pissed off by all the Shador fucking like cult members.
Peyton Manning still has a rookie fucking record.
He got the record for
the most interceptions ever thrown.
Yes, I know that.
Shador didn't do that.
No, but he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I mean, and dude, he yapped his whole way, like, and brings the circus tour there. Stefanski didn't want to get him. Stefanski didn't want to get Deshaun Watson.
That's the only problem I really had with Shador. Shador did have a really good game or two this season, and we can be honest, we humbled ourselves.
A couple flashes, dude.
A couple of flashes. But that's what I didn't like about Shador. It's like, you're a 5th round pick and you're acting like fucking Kanye West out here. Like, I don't fucking get it. Like,
and I don't think that's going to go away, man.
Yourself.
He's not his dad.
It's if he gets
Dion
better,
can talk like that.
No, I'm saying if he gets better, if he becomes a good quarterback, it's not going away. But if he continues to keep getting humbled on the field, it might slightly go away. Not completely.
He reminds me of another Cleveland quarterback that people were excited about coming out of college. You remember
Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Manziel. Where's he at, man? Where's he at right now?
He's on the couch drinking. He's probably enjoying some Miller Lights right now, actually.
Maybe he's listening to us. What's up, Johnny?
Maybe. That'd be great. What's up, Johnny?
Get on the show,
Johnny
man.
Football?
Tell us about the awful Browns organization, because I'm sure he knows all about it.
Still a better athlete than I'll ever be.
Without a doubt. You know, I'm not trying to, and same thing with Shador. I'm not trying to just talk shit, but like, I've seen so many people like online, like just talking bad about Stefanski because they love Shador so much. It's like he has all these fanboys, and it's like, dude, like, let's wait to see it before we start talking like
and
that.
see that's what I want everyone to recognize. Like I'm not taking a strike at anybody's character or anybody's player ability. I've said on this podcast very proudly before, like there's only 32 teams in the NFL. And if you make it on the active roster on any of those teams, you are legit one of the best players in the entire fucking world. You truly are one of the best football players in the entire world if you make it on one of these
even the
teams.
fifth rounders, dude. For sure.
However, me as a fan and me as a football critic, I'm going to criticize everything you do if I don't think you're up to par. And that's not a stab at your character, at who you are, or at your player ability. It's just a stab at your player ability against the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're talking about. And I'm specifically talking about Kevin Stefanski and the pile of shit that he was handed up in Cleveland and still found a way to have some success. And let's talk about, I don't remember if you said this to me, but on Saturday when I started getting all the texts like that they hire Kevin Stefanski, like some people were like, man, like I really had all this faith in Matt Ryan and he goes and does this and settles for this guy. And it's like, let's put ourselves like through what Matt Ryan's thought process was doing this. Okay. You want somebody to come in who is an offensive minded coach. And mind you that, Kevin Stefanski used to be offensive coordinator, came up as like a wide receivers coach, tight end coach, quarterback coach. He was actually Kirk Cousins' best season in 2018 when he got to the Vikings. Kevin Stefanski was his offensive coordinator, which makes me wonder, like, is there a way that Kirk wants to stay? And then that kind of stabilizes our quarterback situation. And I think that if there's anything, obviously the front office and Matt Ryan should know this, that like Stefanski does not want to go through the quarterback carousel again.
No,
whether that's, Kirk Cousins plays.
At least not this season, at least not going into the 2026, 2027 season. Not yet. Like when we don't have the fucking draft situation that we have right now, then let's worry about a quarterback. But yeah, I agree with you on this. I'm hoping that situation can make Kirk happy enough to at least play a good season of football here with the Falcons,
Yeah, or you stay there and then, Penix is going to kind of wait to get his job back because, he's on a rookie deal. When Cousins is out of here the next year or whatever, like if that were to happen, and, this is just who knows, man. We'll find out in a month and a half if they cut him at like March 10th or whatever the date is. But the other thing is like, they settled on him. It's like, no, I think Matt Ryan knew what he wanted. So he was the first guy, we did the first round of interviews and we interviewed Kubiak and some other guys. And we interviewed Stefanski. Stefanski was the first one called back in for a second interview. And now we couldn't do the second interview with Kubiak until he's out, which is probably going to be in February because I have a feeling they're going to the Super Bowl. They didn't want to do that. If you put yourself in that spot, it's like, okay, we already know we like this guy. He had interviews. The news came out yesterday that like the Titans had moved up their interview with Stefanski because they wanted to jump on him. The Ravens
I don't
moved
think he
up.
would have went to the Titans though. I don't think
the Ravens were trying to move up their.
That's where I would have seen him landing. Are in Pittsburgh.
So, well, I don't think he had an interview with Pittsburgh yet, but because you remember I don't know who the Pittsburgh's interviewed, to be honest. No, but I know that the Titans.
I know this is a sidetrack, and I hate to cut you off, but now that we mentioned Pittsburgh, or I mentioned Pittsburgh, and my ADHD is kicking in.
Yeah.
How does the interview process with Pittsburgh go? I think it was just if Tomlin went to go coach for another team, there would have to be some kind of trade going.
Yeah, but they have a coaching vacancy.
Yeah, so they can still actively interview head coaches, right?
I think so, yeah.
And does that mean that Tomlin is still part of the organization, even though he's not the head coach, and they have to trade him away?
He's under contract, so you cannot break that contract and go to another team. But
because he stepped away, he didn't get fired. He would have had to have been terminated to break the contract.
Absolutely. Okay. The ownership gets to do that. He doesn't get to do that.
Okay.
So, anyways, you have all these other teams that look like they're ready to jump on him. Falcons say, all right, we already know we like this dude. He fits everything that we want. They like his character. They like, the two-time coach of the year stuff. Obviously, and clearly, Stefanski wants to be here. I know that we talk about the Falcons and the disarray that we, went the ups and downs of this season. And, there were times where we're like, oh, we're in franchise hell and all that stuff. Clearly, he doesn't feel that way about us compared to Cleveland. And
Yeah.
you know, that's not surprising because Cleveland is an absolute fucking heap of trash on
'Cause he
fire,
didn't get
setting the
fired.
houses on
He
fire.
didn't get fired from Cleveland. He
Yeah,
was
he
just
did.
like, I'm done here.
No, he got
Oh,
fired.
he got fired?
He got fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I misunderstood. I thought he just left Cleveland.
No, he got fired. He got
Okay.
fired. So, but like, you know, he was probably very excited when they were like, they called him in the office. And he's like, please, God, let this be it. Please, God, let me get fired so I can go somewhere else. But my point is that there's other teams that wanted to get him. And if you decided like, we're going to let him interview with the other teams, we're going to wait on Kubiak, and then the Bills fire their coach, and then Mike Tomlin's gone, and then, you know, the Ravens opens up, they're like, okay, if Stefanski goes, oh, okay, I can go to one of these other two teams that have MVP quarterbacks, and Kubiak, the same thing. We could be sitting left on the looking on from the outside in, and we don't have a guy that we want, and we have to settle.
And that's another thing that people need to understand too, is just because there's a coach at a shitty organization doesn't mean there's a shitty coach. Because if you want to talk about coaches that have come from Cleveland, Bill Belichick's one of them. Kyle Shanahan's one of them. Like, there's been good coaches for terrible fucking teams. And it's like, when you give a good coach a terrible team, they can only do so much. But then you move on and you give Bill Belichick fucking Tom Brady. Look what he did there. You give Shanahan the 49ers. Well, he came to Atlanta first, but then he goes to be head coach at 49ers. And look what he's doing there. He's in the playoffs every fucking year, you know?
Right.
So you can only do so much with a bad organization, but that doesn't mean that you're a bad team. So I feel like Atlanta fans, the Atlanta fan base, who loves to fucking play devil's advocate, and either Atlanta's fan base,
all the Mike Vick's better
you,
than Matt Ryan crowd, like they need to shut the fuck up.
Like when he got hired as fucking president of football, everyone's like, oh well, now you got to get Mike Vick in the room, and it's like, yeah, that'd be all cool and well done. I wouldn't be against Mike Vick being involved with the Falcons, but it's like, people in Atlanta fans either love you or they hate you, and there's really no in between. But then when you do something great for Atlanta, they hold on to that one memory for far too fucking long and don't rationalize the person you are at the moment. But I digress from that. But what I'm saying is, Atlanta fans, much like I was initially, like, oh my God, why would we hire someone from Cleveland? Because you're looking at the Cleveland Browns organization. You're not looking at that coach. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the other thing is that they wanted an experienced head coach. We don't know. And, you know, I've been saying Kubiak's the guy that I want because I want that flashy offense. I want that Shanahan offense. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, I want that. And Stefanski's not going to bring you that, but like, they wanted a guy that they know can be a good head coach. You know, Kubiak could come in and get a head coach, and he's also like not a very good personality guy. I don't know if you've seen any interviews with him or anything. Like, he's kind of
dull.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and he's an offensive like brilliant guy. Where Stefanski is more of like he's going to be like run heavy. He's going to run the ball heavy.
But
he's going to bring in a guy.
Personality. If you want a head coach that's just pure personality, why didn't we get Mike McDaniel? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a personality. Yeah, that's certainly a personality. But, you know, he's going to bring in, you know, like we just found out he's bringing in Bill Callahan, legendary offensive line coach.
Who you schooled me on before. Yeah. I told you, I was like, hey, man, I don't know much about Bill Callahan. I know they just got him as the OL coach. Can you tell me about him? And then you told me about him coming in after John Gruden for the Raiders and everything. So apparently
took them immediately to a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he's been a head coach in a Super Bowl. That guy's on our team. He's an older guy. He's been way around the league a lot, but he's produced a lot of Pro Bowlers, a lot of All-Pro offensive linemen. He's going to bring you a nice offensive line. I know that the Titans' offensive line wasn't very good last year when he was there, when his son got fired, who was the head coach, Brian Callahan, which we'll bring up when we get to offensive coordinators that we potentially could hire. But that being said, is like Bijan's gonna eat next year. He's gonna eat, man. Like if our offensive line gets even better, and I wouldn't be surprised if we add a guy or two to the offensive line and maybe spend a little bit of money on that to make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen with Jake Matthews? I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. And I'm not saying Jake, I'm not trying to get rid of you, man.
No, I'm not trying to get rid of him either, but he's definitely aging, because we've had him for what, like 12 years now, something like that?
Yeah. He's been around for a long time, and he's started every single game that he's of his career. So he's a straight up Iron Man. But to that point is like, he's going to run the ball a lot. He's going to do a lot of heavy play action. He's going to be committed to playing under center. So you're not going to get the crazy Kyle Shanahan or what Zach Robinson was trying to do, trying to like do this wacky, like I'm smarter than everyone else. I'm going to do this shit that doesn't fucking make sense to anyone else. He's not going to do that. So you're going to have stability and how you're going to play offensive football. And I think that was important to Matt Ryan. I think the head coaching experience was important to Matt Ryan. And I think the market was important to Matt Ryan, because there's a lot of good teams out there that need head coaches that were going to give him a look. And if he had his choice, if it was go to the Falcons or go to the Bills and coach Josh Allen or go to the Ravens and coach Lamar Jackson, then all of a sudden we're competing with teams that we might lose.
Yeah, you had to strike right when you did.
Exactly.
Right.
And you heard about what happened.
Because,
so they brought him in. They had the interview at Arthur Blake's house.
And you also saw that, once again, I was right about something. The trouble watch worked out in our favor. Who got fucking fired this weekend after the Bills lost? Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
Told you. Yeah. I fucking told you guys it was going to happen. So, once again, to your point, we got Stefanski when we needed him, because what would have happened if all of a sudden the Bills need a head coach and Stefanski's still sitting there? Yeah. You think Stefanski wouldn't have jumped all over coaching Josh Allen? He absolutely the fuck would have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or let's say we go, we take a chance. We're like, we think, we watch ATOWN Rundown and Sean McDermott's on the trouble watch and he could get fired on Monday. And they go, all right, well, we're not good interview, Kevin. Hey, man, we'll be in touch. And then Sean McDermott comes out and we interview him. Stefanski goes to the Bills. Mm-hmm. And then McDermott goes, actually, I'm going to the Ravens. Mm-hmm. And then Kubiak's like, nah, I'm going to Pittsburgh. Then we're fucked.
Yeah. And then on top of that, if you watch ATOWN Rundown, as you should and as you are right now, you would know we told you last week Harbaugh is not coming to Atlanta. He's not.
No.
John Harbaugh is not coming to Atlanta. He likes New York. He likes New York for the reasons we said he should like New York, and I don't hold anything against him for that. But you see pictures of him. He's out getting dinner with the fucking front office there. He all he did for Atlanta was give us a Zoom call. He's not fucking coming here. He was never going to.
But I also feel like the Falcons didn't really take, like, they interviewed him because they should.
Because we knew we couldn't get him. We knew we couldn't get him.
But I think Stefanski was like number one on their list. That's why they jumped like that.
So, speaking of number ones, let's talk about offensive coordinator, because that's something we do. Because we re-signed our DC, we're keeping him.
Yeah, Jeff Ulbrich staying, which I think is a great
Jeff
move.
Ulbrich. But when I think of front runners for offensive coordinator, what do you think about Tommy Rees?
So everyone says that it's likely that they bring him here. I'm not super hype on that, to be honest. And I think that Stefanski would be.
But I see him as the number one front runner is the thing.
Yeah, I agree. But his offense in Cleveland sucked ass, man. And again, it was that team sucked ass.
And like I said, once again, I'm not excited about it, but I do see him as a very strong front runner.
I do see that happening. But also, Bill Callahan's here. His son, Brian Callahan, is an ex-offensive coordinator, was the head coach of the Titans. I think that he could be up there for it. I got a couple other candidates, man.
I'll tell you, I think Brian Callahan is a name in the hat. And I'm kind of wishy-washy on him, too. I don't love the idea. I don't hate the idea. But I think even with Brian Callahan here, it would still be Stefanski's team. And I think they could mesh well together. But I'm also, as an emerging contender, I should call it, I do see, what about Drew Terrell?
Drew Terrell, I don't know too much about him, man. No, yes, I do. So what? He's the Cardinals passing game coordinator,
wide receiver coach.
Okay, yeah.
Wide receiver coach.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know too much about the Cardinals, but I know that his name's in the hat. I got one for you. Since Sean McDermott just got fired, Joe Brady.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if they're lining up an interview with him or anything, but I think that his name needs to get thrown around. Now, you don't have Josh Allen. But, let's bring in a guy that can run a good offense. You know what I'm saying? There's also Brian Dable, the guy that got fired, the head coach of the New York Giants that got fired. Mike McDaniel's out there. I don't think that would happen, but, I mean, we've talked to that.
I don't think Mike McDaniel wants to go from head coach to OC.
I think he's going for a head coaching job.
I don't think it's a big deal.
I think he'd go to the fucking Titans and be a head coach before he would come here and be OC. You know what I mean?
But, I mean,
I'm just
Joe,
insert team here, but I'm
now
just
that
saying.
you mentioned Joe Brady does have an exciting resume being with the Buffalo Bills. He was also the passing game coordinator for LSU during their 2019 championship.
With Joe Burrow.
And then he was the Carolina Panthers OC back in 2020.
Yep.
And then not only that, he was also the Bills quarterback coach before he got promoted to OC. So there would be a lot of good things about Joe Brady going on. But and
Tommy Rees doesn't move the needle for me, but you're right. It is very likely that they do.
Joe Brady does.
Joe Brady would be fucking fun.
But do you think that he's a real candidate for the Falcons?
What about Todd Monken?
Todd Monken would be
great.
Since
John Harbaugh got fired, so
Todd
he's
Monken
out
would be
there.
Great.
So I think that he's a guy that you can throw in the hat. I don't know if any of those are realistic. I don't love the idea of and I know that Matt Ryan said he's going to let the new head coach bring in his own coaches, but there's also special teams coordinator. If they bring in the Cleveland special teams coordinator, we were the worst special teams in the league. We were number 32. Cleveland was number 30. You know.
Also, back to your point about Joe Brady, didn't we consider interviewing him for head coach? Isn't he looking for a head coaching job?
I think we did. We may have interviewed him already, for a first round or something.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. It goes
we interviewed
to the
Mike
same
McDaniel
point with Mike
in the first
McDaniel.
round. Yeah.
But it goes to the same thing with Mike McDaniel. I think if you're looking for head coaching, because I just looked Joe Brady up, and it looks like the Ravens, the Dolphins, and the Raiders are also interviewing him for head coaching jobs.
Yeah, he's probably going for that first.
So he's beyond a lot of coordinator these guys at this point.
Doesn't mean it can't happen. But in all honesty, man, Stefanski's probably going to be the play caller, and whoever the OC is going to try and put the game plan together, talk to him during the game about what he saw in film and shit like that, while Stefanski makes the final decision on what the play is. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what he was doing mainly in Cleveland.
At what point does it all of a sudden mean you get a designation for head coach? Why is all of a sudden Kubiak in conversation he should be a head coach? I'm just not if you're an incredible OC, when does the jump happen? Why do you all of a sudden why is Kubiak all of a sudden in conversation for head coach instead of just going and being an OC somewhere?
Is he's just climbing the career ladder? You have enough success. He's interviewing for head coaching jobs.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I understand. I understand the reality we're in. I'm just saying, at what point, what justifies the jump? You know what I'm saying? Because being a head coach to me, being a head coach to me is a lot more than being an offensive coordinator in my head.
I agree. And I think that's why Stefanski got this job, because they've seen that he can do it.
Yeah,
there's we saw Mike McDaniel, and I bet there's a lot of people who feel the same way.
I feel McDaniel needs to be a coordinator again, not a head coach.
I think a lot of people feel that way. I bet you a lot of people around the NFL feel that way. That they're not oh, you know who our guy is? It's Mike McDaniel to be our head coach. Mike McDaniel is a brilliant offensive
just watched what he
mind.
Did.
Yeah,
I just saw what he did.
Right. And people will be like, "Oh, but look at Cleveland."
That argument that I just gave you is the exact same argument people are going to give us about Stefanski.
2-time coach of the year.
Yeah.
With Cleveland.
Mike McDaniel doesn't have that.
No. And neither does any other active coach.
When's the last time McDaniel was in the playoffs? Because the Dolphins have been in at least the playoff hunt recently. But
let's look.
I don't know if McDaniel has brought them there twice, has he?
Let's see.
You're going to do some research time with ATOWN Rundown, but while we're doing research, it would be the opportune moment for you to go to your refrigerator, reach in there, and pull out a nice cold Miller Lite, just like I cracked open myself. Let's enjoy this together.
Right. That's right. While you pull up and see what Mike McDaniel did.
Nothing goes down better than that, boys. I'll tell you, and girls, and non-binary, and whatever you identify as. I don't know you personally, but everybody is welcome here.
When did Mike McDaniel get there? Because they went in 2022 and lost in the wild card round, and 2023.
He was definitely there then.
Okay.
He was definitely there then. Definitely there then.
Let's see.
2022. He was the head coach 2022. 2022.
Yep.
So he was only the head coach for 4 years. God damn.
Yeah. And Raheem was only the head coach for 2. Thank you, Uncle Arthur, for thank you so much for finally doing it.
And he finished with a 35-33 regular season record and 0-2 in the playoffs before being replaced or before being fired.
Right. So why wouldn't you fire Raheem? I mean,
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about.
We did fire Raheem.
I know. Thank God. But I get what people say about, like, if you look at the overall with Kevin Stefanski, I think it's going to be just fine. Did that make me excited when I read that news? Did I get up and jump for joy that we got Kevin Stefanski? No. But I see why they did it. I think it's going to work out just fine. I think you put that guy in a better situation and things will be good. Mike McDaniel doesn't seem like a great leader to me. Seems like a great guy. It seems like a very smart football guy. Same thing could be said about Raheem, but I don't know. I think there's something that, like, ownership looks at Mike McDaniel. I mean, he's a fucking stoner guy. Like, I don't see him getting that job, like, for a great, like, team or a great contender. Like I said, like maybe the Titans, like, need him or something, and they'll take him. And young Cam Ward.
I've been giving him a lot of shit, and I've been talking about how he showed up drunk. Apparently, Mike McDaniel's been sober since he left the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, but he just seems like a stoner guy if you listen to him talk.
He does seem like a stoner. He's
not saying that he's
out there, dude. He's a weirdo. He's strange. But one more thing about the Falcons before we move on to our...
No, we got one more. We got to do GM candidates,
You got one more OC? Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
that's what I was leading into.
I thought you were going Sorry.
No. One more thing about the Atlanta Falcons before we move into how the Super Bowl is looking, how these playoffs are looking. We do, like you just said... we do have to have a conversation about GM, and I'll give you who I think my front runner is, who I would like to see, and that's Ian Cunningham.
I think he's 1,000% the front runner. We're the only team looking for a GM right now. So, like, and, I think around the league, everyone thinks he's, like, the most respected GM assistant. We've been waiting on the Bears to get eliminated so that we could interview him. I think that happens very soon.
Now's the time.
And also Kevin Stefanski's inaugural press conference isn't happening until next Tuesday, which I think is because they want Ian Cunningham sitting next to him.
Yeah, could be. So, could be. But if we couldn't get him, what do you think about Josh Williams from the 49ers?
I think that's a good one. So been with the 49ers for a long time. He's the scouting guy for the GM. So clearly he's, finding the personnel, been there for 14 years. They've been good for 14 years. I know they had a couple clunker seasons, but, like, overall, like, 2012 they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We've seen them in two more Super Bowls since then with rosters that he's helped put together.
One more thing I want to point out. This is the first episode we've done where it seems like you and I have done the exact same research and are agreeing on everything together.
Yeah. No, this is good.
What about Alex Hallaby?
Okay, the Eagles assistant GM. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The Eagles have drafted a lot of great players, ended up in Super Bowls.
It seems like he's the most analytics-driven GM I've talked about on this list. And he's got really good roster management, which I think is something we really need to consider moving forward.
Yeah.
But then you also got John Eric Sullivan, who is the Packers vice president of player personnel, who I really like.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good candidate.
But the guys I just mentioned, the two guys right there that I just mentioned, I don't see happening. But Josh Williams and Ian Cunningham, I have as very strong contenders, and I really do think we actually might be able to land Ian Cunningham.
I think so too. Again, because we're the only job that's open, so that's a good spot to be in. And we didn't have to rush to get into that one. We had to pounce on Stefanski because there's so many job openings. I got one more for you, dude.
Okay.
John McKay, Rams assistant GM.
Okay, yeah, I was looking at him too, dude.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, John McKay. Of course, I know who he is, dude. Everybody knows who John. No, I don't know who John McKay is, but I did some research and saw his name and liked what I saw.
Well, let me give you a little factoid about him. He's the son of Rich McKay, who we just fucking got rid of. So no, I'm not letting the McKays back in the goddamn building. Period. I don't care how good he is.
No, no, dude. I like everything I read about him, and I even have him on my list right here on my computer.
Just because of Rich McKay, and it's like We finally got him away from football operations for the second time. I can't believe that. Like a couple of years ago, it's like, well, Rich McKay will only be involved in Atlanta United from now on. And then it's like, you come to find out 2 years later, we fire Raheem Morris. And, and also we've asked Rich McKay to step away from football operations. Like, what the fuck? I thought we already did that.
Yeah.
So I'm not letting those guys back in the building.
Well,
Sorry.
I'll tell you, I'm nothing
young
like
McKay.
my father, so.
I know, but it's just like, I don't want his dad coming in here. I don't want him anywhere around this fucking football team, period.
One person I was going to say that we didn't mention, this is an ex-Falcons assistant GM, but Anthony Robinson, who does have the homegrown connection. He's got the front office continuity, and sometimes the connection you have with the front office matters a little bit more than like flash and hype. I don't know if
that's how we ended up with Raheem Morris.
Exactly.
So I'd like to see Arthur step away from that, and that's why he hired Matt Ryan.
But that doesn't mean that he's bad at his job. I feel like he's done better at GM than Raheem has done as head coach.
I agree, but I'm just saying.
Okay. No, I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to say, like, if we exhaust all of our options, but I will say
we won't. We're the only job open.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I will say, since we are the only job option open,
and Arthur Blank's got the money, man.
Yeah, we're going to be able. The GM is one thing that doesn't stress me out right now, because we're going to be able to take the absolute best candidate at GM because we are the only team that has a GM opening.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Before we move on, did you hear that? The Stefanski interview, Arthur Blank cooked steaks for everybody on the grill at his mansion. Isn't that
can you imagine seeing that? Can you imagine seeing Arthur Blank manning?
Someone took a picture of the steaks, man. They looked amazing.
That's great, dude.
Nice, like rare steaks, dude. Fucking
Home Depot, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and like that guy's cooking for you.
I know.
They didn't want him to leave, man.
Him and his buddy did something that we should have did. They were fired from their hardware company, and then they decided to start Home Depot. We've been fired from jobs together. We should start some. Oh, wait. Look at ATOWN Rundown. This is a product of us being fired.
This is the beginning of our empire.
This is the empire right here. Yep. It reaches 3 people a week on YouTube, but we love them.
One day we'll buy the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see.
I don't want a yacht. I don't want a fucking Beverly Hills mansion. None of that. Matter of fact, if you gave me $2 million today, all I would do is fix everything wrong with my house and add on to it and keep the property I already own. But I would definitely buy a chunk of the Atlanta Falcons.
You know what I would do? I would go to a car dealership. I'd buy the biggest, annoying, ridiculous lifted truck with lights all over it and everything. I would drive to your house unannounced, knock on the door. You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'd be like, I need your help, man. I need you to drive me back to the dealership with this truck so I can buy another one. And I'd let you keep that one. And then we go to the next friend's house and we knock on their door and be like, hey man, me and Joey are going back to the dealership. I need you to drive this truck so I can buy another one. Cause I want to have a whole fleet of them. We just go visit all our friends.
You know what we really need to do? We really need to, the truck you give me, I want to paint it powder blue, and I want it to have a gold grill and a gold bumper, and the middle of it be the old school blue can Miller Lite logo, baby.
You know what? I'm glad you told me that, because if this ever happens, that's what I'm showing up at your house with.
Fuck yeah, baby. Miller Lite, please sponsor us.
Miller Lite, we're still waiting on this money, man. I've been checking all week.
And I'll settle for this, Miller Lite. If you don't sponsor us, please just bring back the blue cans. Please, for the love of God, just bring back the blue can Miller Lite.
I would enjoy that.
That's all I'm asking for, dude. But moving on, you want to go ahead and jump into what's going on with these wacky ass playoffs and teams?
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy right now. So what you got going on is in the hunt for the Super Bowl right now. You got the Seahawks, who looked fucking dominant against the Niners. Granted, the Niners had every odd stacked against them you could possibly imagine. However, the fact that they only put up 2 field goals in that game is fucking heart-wrenching. I hate it for them, but dude, the Seattle Seahawks just came out with a point to prove. They were booming from the get-go. It was
opened
electric.
The game. Opened the game with
insane.
a kickoff return.
And then You got the Patriots who are in the hunt, who absolutely not annihilated, but they made C.J. Stroud look like he's never played the game of football before. What the fuck was that, Jeremy?
I want to say something about C.J. Stroud, man, because the reason I backed the Texans was because of their defense, and I thought their defense still gave them a chance to win. But you have 4 turnovers. Some of them turn into points in the first half. And, and I said this about the game the week before with C.J. Stroud. He looked rattled out there. But this dude, in his rookie season, which was great, he went on a podcast in the offseason and put himself in the top 5 QBs in the NFL. It's just like,
nope,
bro, you ain't that. Because he hasn't really been that guy since then.
When you and I started paying really good attention to the Texans and being like, holy shit, this is a team to watch out for. They're going to go deep in the playoffs, which they did. They were with their backup quarterback.
That's right. C.J. Stroud wasn't even playing.
It's almost as if he was performing better than Stroud.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I think C.J. Stroud is I think he's overrated.
I don't even remember that dude's name. I don't even remember that guy's name.
I don't either. But
I don't.
But I think that when you have a defense like that,
with him.
Yep. Yeah. But also their offensive line wasn't very good. And Patriots got a good defense. They got a really good defense. They were putting pressure on him a lot. But just, the mistakes that he was making, mental errors, throwing it into the other team's hands, with that many turnovers, and they still had a chance to win in the fourth, man. I think they were down by like 12, early in the fourth. It's like, okay, you can go win this. You can score a touchdown, field goal, and then if you get last possession, one more field goal, you're in this, But yeah, he was giving it up. I texted you during the game, and I was just like, he does it.
You texted me. It was like 4 turnovers in the first half or some crazy shit like that.
And that was before the half was even over. And I think he got lucky that he didn't have more than that.
Yeah, so I texted you because with all these subscriptions and all these things you got to pay for, and you got to have live TV here, and you got to fucking give your first child to this company and all this shit. I was like, dude, I can't even watch this game. I don't have a way to watch this game. I'm at home right now. I'm not at work. Where I work at in Wire Park in Watkinsville, they have all the games playing. They pay for all the subscriptions. They can afford $300,000 a month for subscriptions. I can't. So I was like, I can't watch this game, dude. So I guess you can just tell me what's going on. I can check the score on Google.
I may or may not have illegally streamed it, and kids don't do that. It's illegal.
I was about to get to that point, but I didn't want to say that because that's absolutely what I did for the Seahawks game.
Yeah. But what was on Peacock, which I paid for. And funny story is I started paying for that because I wanted to watch the show. The last show you and I worked on together, Friend of the Family, was only on Peacock. And I got it for 99 cents a month for the first 6 months, and I just never canceled it.
I worked on another teacup. I mean,
no. The last one that you and I worked on together.
No. I know, but I worked on another Peacock show called Teacup, which everyone was saying was going to be the next Stranger Things, and then it just plopped.
Yeah. Well, nothing will be as good as On the Come Up.
Yeah, On the Come Up.
I did not get Paramount Plus to see that one.
Dude, the
but
thing
we
is,
worked on that one.
I had Paramount Plus at the time, and what's fucked up is when we worked on the Come Up, I had already been in the film industry for about 4 years at this point. On the Come Up was the first time I had my name in credits on a fucking movie, and it was that fucking movie.
Nice.
We did a few seasons of Stranger Things together. We did Fear Street together. We did On the Come Up together. We did fucking Friend of the Family together. And I remember, and you remember, and we are getting off the rails right now, but there was a huge uproar when Stranger Things season 4 came out because
a lot of people didn't make the credits. Yeah,
there were multiple guys who had been on, because what people watching don't know is Stranger Things season 4 happened during COVID. So we were doing all this pre-production. We built all the sets. Everything was completed, ready to shoot. The very first day of filming, we shot one scene. The fucking directors came out. I was on location with Ted Kirk and a few other guys.
Shout out
on
Kirky.
Location with Ted. I love you, Ted. I was on location with him. We set up, we finished doing what we had to do at Dustin's house, and we were like, fuck it, let's go over to base camp, let's watch some film. So, and the first scene that they shot was of Erica coming to the door and cussing guys out because they were looking for Lucas. And she said her lines, everybody's cracking up, everyone's laughing. She does her lines, they do it 6 times in a row. Then all of a sudden, the directors come out, they're like, hey, everybody, we're shutting down for like 2 weeks. No need to panic, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks turned into like 3 months of them being shut down. So then we had to come back to work and rebuild everything. So long story short, what people don't understand is Stranger Things season 4 took almost 2 years to fucking film.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people like me, like Jeremy, who had been on that show since day fucking 1 all the way to day end, to the very last day, after everything's cleaned up, after everything's put away, after everything's swept, after everything's packed up. Me and Jeremy were still there. And then guys like us who were there the entire time, our name wasn't in the credits, but guys who had been on the show for the last month and a half, their name was on the credits.
Now, I will say, I was in the credits.
It was a shitstorm, dude.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the credits.
But, dude, I remember...
Our buddy Benny wasn't in the credits, and he worked his ass off on that show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. But I remember that day, like, leaving the boss's office, and I was talking to him about it, like, what's going on? Like, they're saying 2 weeks, and he's like, it ain't gonna be 2 weeks. He's like, I know they're saying 2 weeks, it ain't gonna be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I met up with you and the other guys that we were working with, and I had to tell y'all, like...
We went to the Ideal. We had some Miller Lights.
Yes, we did. But I had to tell you guys, like, guys... Be prepared. It ain't gonna be 2 weeks, and it wasn't. It was 4 months.
We got home from the bar, and then Jeremy calls me, and your exact words were, "I don't know what's about to happen, but prepare for the apocalypse."
That's right. That's right. It felt like it for a little while, man. It felt like it. By the way, I don't know if you've seen the season 5 the making of documentary. I'm in it, and I'm on Netflix now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm wearing, and I hold a big sign that says, "Listen to ATOWN Rundown." I'm just kidding. At the time, ATOWN Rundown wasn't a thing. But
no, during season 5, I had been asked to come back to season 5, and it just didn't work out. And by the time season 5 was said and done, I had already left the film industry. It was a great time of my life. I have a lot of great memories. I did a lot of cool shit, but it's just not in the cards for me anymore. But it was awesome. That's how I met Jeremy. But anyways, going back to this, another.
We didn't get to talk about the Patriots though.
Yeah, we didn't.
We talked about how bad CJ Stroud sucked, but like the Patriots,
Drake May didn't do much fucking better.
I was about to say, like the Patriots seem like they're getting maybe the easiest route to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really feels like that, and it's like, and everyone like comparing Drake May to like Matthew Stafford and shit. It's just like, what the fuck are you guys watching? Like, I don't think he's bad. I think he's great. I wish we had him, but like, I don't think he's like this MVP guy. Like, I know we talked about him like that at like week 9 or week 10 or something, but like, I'm not feeling that way about them. And, you know, let's talk about the Broncos and Bills before we get to their actual matchup. And then,
well, what I was going to say is like, speaking of that, like it's weird that like I should feel optimistic about the Broncos. I mean, about the Patriots going into the Broncos game with Bo Nix being injured, but I'm not optimistic because like we're about to go into, it looks like they're going to be just fine. And the Patriots might lose to the Broncos without Bo Nix. But yes, help me break it down. This game against the Bills that the Broncos lose, who technically, I mean, the Broncos won, but technically right now, everybody's calling the Broncos a long shot because of Bo Nix, but I don't see them being a long shot even without Bo Nix right now.
Yeah, Bo Nix is, and in that game, you know, like, you know, their defense looked good. Josh Allen was taking it to him, and it was a very close game. Sorry, Bills, you know, you didn't make it again. I don't think they should have fired their coach over them losing in overtime.
I don't, but I told you so. I don't think they should have fired him, but I fucking told you
because
so.
Josh Allen had a lot of turnovers
and
against a very good defense on the road. But
I'll tell you this too, Jeremy. I think John Harbaugh getting fired set the tone for every other team.
You're probably right.
I think it really set the tone.
You're probably right. But the difference is that, you know, the Bills were in the divisional round of the playoffs, whereas, you know, the Ravens were fighting for their life to get into the playoffs. I don't think either is cool. But Josh Allen, man, like we should have a little conversation about him. Like, at what point does he take blame for this shit? Like, I don't feel like he's getting any. I think he's saying
a lot of blame on Josh Allen.
Well, I think he's saying himself like that he's the one that let them down, and I get that and I respect that. But like, they go and fire the head coach after that. It was a great game. Broncos looked great. Bills looked great. Broncos defense, I mean, like they were putting up a fight, man. And you know, some of those turnovers aren't just Josh Allen's fault. They had the right idea, keep Josh Allen in the pocket as much as you can. But yeah, man, I mean, I feel like, and then, you know, Bo Nix getting hurt like the second to last play of the game or something, like That is some shit, man. That sucks. I hate it for him. But, going into the Patriots and Broncos matchup, Jarrett Stidham coming in, the only time that I can really remember him playing was he started for the Raiders in the playoffs against the 49ers a couple years ago and took it to him, man. Like, they ended up losing that game, but very close. Like, he was making big throws, making shit happen. This is back when the Raiders had, like, Devontae Adams.
But also, to your point, like, this late into the season, and not even the season anymore, with the postseason going on right now, you're not prepared for the backup quarterback because you haven't seen him all fucking year.
He's the only backup quarterback that hasn't played this year, believe it or not.
And this is also how isn't this how Nick Foles got away with a Super Bowl victory because Carson Wentz got hurt late in the season?
Did you see that
people
Nick
just
Foles
weren't ready for him?
Tweeted at him, and he was like, "Hey, man,
I did.
Yeah,
I did. That's what brought it back to my memory.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
You know?
But it's true. It's happened before.
And how shitty does that have to be for guys like Carson Wentz, for guys like Gronkowski, who was injured when the Patriots won a Super Bowl, like to know that you had a big hand in helping your team, and then when you're at the dance, when all the confetti's dropping, when you had nothing to do with the victory, like that's.
How about Ronald Acuna?
Yeah,
he was out. He was out for half that season.
We won the World Series without him.
Yeah.
But shout out to Ozzie Albies, my fucking boy, who really helped us win that.
And
shout out to Dansby Swanson getting that motherfucker out on first to Freddie. Who we don't have either one of them on the team anymore. But
no, but that's okay. I mean, there were other guys.
But at the same time, have you seen how Dansby's been doing in Chicago?
Scooping up money. That's what he's doing.
All he's doing is scooping up money. He ain't scooping up balls.
Nope. Scooping up that money. But yeah, so who do you got in this AFC championship?
Well, we haven't talked about the Rams Bears yet.
Okay, so we'll do both picks. After that.
I'm sorry, Randy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
It was a game that I
haven't
really
talked to him since.
Dude, the thing is, Caleb Williams was slinging that thing.
He was.
Caleb Williams was playing like a fucking all-star out there. And
coming from behind again, man. So it felt believable.
Every single thing I said about Caleb Williams earlier in this season of ATOWN Rundown, I take back. I completely throw away. Caleb Williams, I hope this falls on your ears. I am sorry because you're the fucking man.
He's awesome.
He's
awesome. I agree.
But I'll tell you, Ben Johnson helped you get there. You really just needed a good coach, and you got it. And Caleb, you're the fucking. You know what?
Yeah, give it up for Caleb, man, because he looked good,
dude. You cannot be upset the way you played this season. You cannot be upset with that, dude. Caleb Williams, great quarterback. Great quarterback. He is now teetering on the line of elite. If he plays like this for 4 more seasons, he is an elite level quarterback.
Yeah, I agree, man. And that was a heartbreaker for Chicago. But, let's give some props to Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams.
Once again,
they
what
are the superior
are you gonna
team
do against Puka Nacua, dude?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua is an incredible football player.
Yeah.
Holy fucking
shit. For them to do
dude.
that on the road in that kind of weather, which, by the way, the weather didn't seem to bother them that much. I mean, you saw them putting on the big coats and everything.
By the time it got to game time, it seemed like the snow and everything had actually calmed down.
Yep.
So it was just
cold as fuck.
They had good vision. It was just cold. It was just cold as fuck.
It was just cold.
And it wasn't Atlanta cold either. It wasn't cold where the humidity gets you.
No, it was real
fucking
cold.
And the humidity gets you, and 20 feels like 1 degree. It was just cold.
Yeah. No, it's the real cold. But yeah, I mean, shout out to them. I thought the Rams played a great game. The fact that the Bears, it looked like they were about to do it again. They're about to come back, and Caleb Williams even gave you one of those. I was talking about one of the best throws I'd seen on that 4th and 8 from the week before from Caleb Williams. He did it again.
Yeah.
He did it again, and that was the one to go to OT with 18 seconds left.
And that's the thing, man. I did not realize he had that much power in his fucking shoulders.
It reminded me of Russell Wilson, in his prime. And I know that we don't talk about Russell Wilson like that, but the way that he kind of scrambles and runs backwards. You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
There's a reason we don't talk about Russell Wilson, and it's because of New York Giants Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
That man destroyed his legacy.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Seahawks in 2014 against the Packers and the NFC.
You're talking about Legion of Boom, fucking Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Like that era. And I think they went to the Super Bowl that year, 2014. Pretty sure they did. I think that was the Marshawn Lynch, or they didn't hand him the ball. I'm pretty
where
sure
they
it was
should have
that one.
handed it to
Yeah.
Marshawn, and they just decided.
But it
not
reminded me
to.
one of those where it's like, and my best friend, he grew up in Chicago, and he was watching the game.
Wait, I thought I was your best friend.
My other best friend, man.
I'm not from Chicago. I'm from Atlanta.
I have best friend 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. So
all right, show's over, guys.
So I texted him, and I was just like, he's freaking out, or he's texting me and he's freaking out, and I was like, it seems like Caleb Williams is better when the pocket is gone and he's on to the next play, and like when he's in the pocket. And sure enough, right after I said that is when he was in the pocket. He had a clean pocket. He's standing there. He's doing a little Tom Brady, like kind of, standing in one spot, but like bouncing on each foot. And that's when he threw the interception in OT, which I think DJ Moore, like kind of, I don't want to say he gave up on the play, but I don't feel like he knew what was going on because he was not where he was supposed to be. And the defender was. Defender was reading it. DJ Moore was not even looking. And that kind of sealed it for the Rams. They go back, kick a field goal in overtime. And that was history. But
so I want to tell you where I stand right now. And I want to tell you if you agree with me.
Okay.
I see it being Broncos Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. I mean, I told my friend, hey man, no hard feelings. Like, don't feel bad. Like that, y'all had a great season. The Bears had a great season, but whoever wins this game is going to get their ass beat by the Seahawks. So I agree with that. I'm going for Broncos. It is in Denver. The Patriots, I feel like, have had it kind of easy all year long. They got to play the Chargers. They got to play, the Texans. Great defense, but, CJ Stroud. The Texans.
They got to play CJ Stroud. They didn't get to play the Texans. They got to play CJ Stroud.
Right. So, and look, without Bo Nix, and they got Jarrett Stidham in, I don't think that that's as good as having, playing the Broncos that just beat the Bills. But I think the Broncos can win this game. I'm going to agree with you, man. I'm taking Broncos Seahawks.
But I'll also tell you this, regardless of it being the Broncos or the Patriots, I see the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Me too.
All right.
But I will say, I did just say, like, the Seahawks are going to beat whoever wins this game. They're going to beat the shit out of them. But, like, the Rams are really good. I think, I honestly, that game might be more – that might be a closer game, the Rams and the Seahawks, than we think.
I think it's going to be a more exciting game than the Patriots-Broncos game.
Maybe, yeah. And meaning that the Broncos are going to beat the Patriots by a bigger margin than the Seahawks beat the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean we're also calling both home teams to win, and I think that means something. It's like these are two number one seeds, man. Like,
well, I'm just saying,
which also scares me. How often do we actually see that?
I understand that you got to watch out. Okay, so let me backtrack and be really analytical for a second without the numbers. You got to.
That's not analytical.
Okay, so I'm just saying this is Joey analytics right now.
Gotcha.
This is Miller
Joey
Lite
Nomics.
Talk.
Yeah.
This is Miller Lite Talk, which I wish could be a segment, and when we're finally sponsored by them, it will be.
Yeah.
But so you look at, I understand that they have Devontae Adams. I understand that they have Matt Stafford. I understand that they have Puka Nacua. And also I want to say that, mind you, the Seahawks were explosive. They were dominant on both sides of the ball. They were killing it. They were crushing the 49ers. The 49ers are not the Rams. The 49ers are on their last fucking leg. The 49ers are a team that's playing with mostly secondary in the playoffs, Yeah. So the Rams actually could show up and really disrupt things in Seattle and end up in the Super Bowl.
That's kind of what I think.
Just to be real, they could.
Because the Bears are good, and you're playing on the road, and the Bears in bad weather and stuff, and they were able to do it.
Do you think the Seahawks are better than the Bears?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to have seen that game, but Yeah, I think the Seahawks are better than the Bears. And then
I would have loved to see that too, because I honestly think Seahawks Bears would have been a better game than Seahawks Rams. I do.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a better game.
Yeah, and I feel like the Bears, like, I was really hoping to see more out of their run game, and it was good, but like, because they got down, and I kind of said this about their defense, is like Matt Stafford was going to be able to score on them. And so now you got to throw the ball. And, you know, what killed them in the end was, you know, that interception. And Caleb had a couple interceptions, man. Like, I don't want to say that he was perfect the whole game until overtime. That's kind of why they got dug in the hole. Like, they shouldn't have gone to overtime.
Stage
really.
in football, at this level of football, at this time in football, I expect every quarterback to throw an interception in the game. Every one of them. I expect it to happen.
And they will. They will. We'll see some more this weekend.
I mean, we even watched, dude, I'll never forget it. It was the coolest fucking thing in the world. You and I watched Tom Brady throw an interception in the end zone, and it was cool.
Against the Falcons. Yes.
It was, dude, this is like one of the greatest gifts a friend could give me is what you gave me. I got and you have good seats. You have good.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You have good season tickets. And Jeremy took me to go see a Buccaneers Falcons game with Tom Brady Buccaneers. And like, I had hated on Tom Brady my whole life. And Jeremy was kind of like easing me up on the way there. He's like, yeah, I know you hate Tom Brady, but like he really is the guy. He really is that good. And it was weird coming from Jeremy.
On a good team, but we've never seen him on a bad team. So,
but like, it was weird coming from Jeremy, because like I was talking all this shit about Tom Brady. And then Jeremy's even like, yeah, but you know, he still is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, fuck Tom Brady. And then like, I
had already seen him in person. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why he was stopping me, because I had never seen Tom Brady in real life before, and like he would hike the ball and I would count, and by the time I got to 2.5, the ball's out of his fucking hand. Yep. Like he has the quickest fucking cadence in the fucking world. Like I had never seen somebody grab and release the football that fast in my life, and I'm looking at Tom Brady and my jaw is on the floor, and then I look over to Jeremy, and Jeremy's kind of just like, I fucking told you, dude. This is Tom Brady.
Yep.
Like I told you.
Prepare yourself.
But then in the Buccaneers end zone, Jeremy and I got to witness Tom Brady throwing a fucking interception, and it was one of the greatest moments of my entire fucking life. Because he had been, I mean, they still won that game, but he had just been destroying us. Like, you just don't understand. When you see Tom Brady in real life, like it's like hike, boom. Like it's like, how does he think that fast? He gets the ball, and I'm counting in my head. It's like 1, 2 before I can get to 3. Boom, pass, completed pass, not just ball out of his hand, like completed pass. You know, it was fucking astounding. Like, and at that moment, like I think on the train ride home, I like looked over at Jeremy. I was like, Tom Brady's really the greatest quarterback of all time, and Jeremy was like, yeah, he is.
I did not say yeah, he is. I did not say yeah, he is. I said he was great.
You didn't debate me that hard, though. You didn't debate me that hard.
No, I know, but I have always been Peyton Manning's the best that I've ever seen. Tom Brady's had a lot of great teams, a lot of great defense.
You and I were on the Aaron Rodgers train for a minute.
Yeah, I was on that too.
You and I were on the Aaron Rodgers train.
Absolutely. But I don't think that Tom Brady's ever not had, and someone can refute this, I don't think he's ever not had a top 10 defense, ever. Drew Brees had a top 10 defense, I think, like 2 times. Matt Ryan had one once. Peyton Manning had one, I think, like 3 or 4 times. So, you know, when we get into like who's the GOAT, and we're only counting Super Bowl rings, it's like on a 53-man roster. Is that really the only stat we can look at? So when I hear people say that, I'm just like, well, I mean, I agree he's great.
If you're counting rings, Bill Russell's the greatest NBA player of all time.
And I make that same argument. But nobody says that. They say Michael Jordan is, you know? Because Michael Jordan is far and beyond the greatest ever.
Well, I think Dennis Rodman's the greatest defensive player of all time. So, but
he's certainly fucking amazing, dude. I love watching some of his defensive highlights.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, like, who else could you get, like, outplayed by? You could get bullied by. He has 5 rings, and he did all of that in a wedding dress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
You know, look at that motherfucker, dude.
Banging Carmen Electra, dude. Come on.
Like, dude, like the only person who's in the conversation against Dennis Rodman is Shaquille O'Neal, and that's about it. Those are the 2 greatest defensive players of all time, in my opinion. And I could be wrong, and if you want to prove me wrong, cool. But like, how are you going to argue? Look at, and I'm not even talking about Bulls Rodman. I'm talking about Pistons Rodman. Like,
Oh hell
look
yeah!
at Dennis Rodman and
Even
look
when
at
he went to the
Shaquille
Spurs,
O'Neal.
he was good after the Bulls.
He was good at the Spurs. He was great at the. He was actually fucking great at the Spurs.
Yeah.
You know, this motherfucker would have like 2.5 points, 1 assist, but then fucking 30 rebounds in a game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, he was insane. He was insane.
Like, but I mean, besides Dennis Rodman and Shaquille O'Neal, who's better at defense than those two guys?
Yeah,
Nobody.
no, I mean, and Rodman, like his whole thing was he knows how to affect the game, and it doesn't have to be scoring.
And he could get inside your fucking head. Like he could just psychologically fuck you up. You know what I'm saying?
That's part of his character. You know, like
they don't make players like that anymore. They don't. They don't. Like the NBA. That NBA doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
But we're not talking about the NBA right now. We're talking about the NFL. And do you want to do a trouble watch? Because my trouble watch still stands. The trouble watch.
Let's
still stands. I still think if Sean McVay doesn't get to the Super Bowl, I'm not saying it happens this year. I'm not saying it happens immediately after this, but I'm saying if he...
This is a very light trouble watch because everyone's this far in the game. Like, you don't fire coaches for losing in
that's what I'm saying.
NFC Championship.
And that's why we have to keep the tradition of trouble watch.
Yeah.
But, like, even if he can't get him to the dance this year, and let's say next year he falls further behind, you could see about 2 more years of Sean McVay, you know?
Yeah. And, I mean, how long's Stafford going to play? Like,
exactly.
What's the idea?
What do you do moving on from Stafford?
Yeah.
You know?
I think Stetson Bennett's still on their roster.
They should have kept Baker because Baker for the Rams was electric.
Yeah, but Baker, he don't need to be a backup.
Baker needs to come to the Falcons. Baker needs to come to the Falcons. Baker.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come on.
We'll see.
Come on. You got history with Stefanski, dude. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, and he's talking shit about him like today.
He was.
And that's the dorky shit that I'm talking about. It's like, shut up, dude. Like, do you think Stefanski got rid of you or the front office did?
Oh, you're going to act like you don't have a personal vendetta with anyone?
I'm just saying. I don't get online and fucking do that shit.
I do. I'm petty as fuck.
Well, you know,
I don't anymore.
Someone says something dumb online, like maybe I'll say something.
Once I had kids and got married and stuff, I keep my pettiness to myself. Now I just text my buddies about it, and then
talk
they
about
agree,
it on a podcast,
and they validate my feelings for me, and I'm fucking fine. I don't need to go on the Twitter or whatever to fucking make myself feel better. But I'll tell you about it, and I'll tell my wife about it, even though she doesn't listen to me half the fucking time. And I'll tell my buddies about it. You know,
nor
should you know, she doesn't even listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, same here. Yeah, my wife, you know, she shouldn't listen to me.
My wife probably thinks that home runs happen in football. You know,
that's right.
What would she know?
My wife will watch football, but she doesn't care.
Commanders
about it that fan. Okay, well that's bad. Yeah. My wife likes basketball and baseball.
My wife's one of those people that like she likes sports if she's at the game, but she does not want to watch them on the couch like at all.
No, okay. On the couch, my wife will watch anything, but I agree with that. Like with football, she doesn't get that into it. Now, you know, like if it's the Falcons playing, she knows that like I'm excited, like she'll get into it. But at the game, after a couple beers, like she's having a good time.
Yeah, dude.
She's having a real good time.
Speaking of a couple beers, I'm gonna keep fucking pounding these Miller Lights. We're gonna let you guys go.
Yep.
If you guys want to find us, it's very easy to find us on YouTube. We're at ATOWN Rundown. We're on Instagram at ATOWN Rundown. You can check out Jeremy's band Sunmancer. They're on all streaming platforms. I listen to them on Spotify sometimes in the gym. Get me fucking going, dude. Just that Glassjaw cover, though, man. That shit is fucking... That's the move.
It's
right
coming,
there,
baby.
Dude.
It's 2026 live shows. It's coming.
That move is coming. If you guys play that live, I might just rip the microphone away and fucking do it myself. I don't.
That'd be fucking awesome. That'd be fucking awesome.
I don't think your guy would like that very much, though.
I think he'd be excited that you're into it.
But we're gonna let you guys go. Have a good time. We're gonna be talking about the Super Bowl. Brave season is right around the corner. The NBA is in full swing. We are going to kind of transcend into an NBA show and catch you up with all the drama and everything. And the thing I love about the NFL is the NFL technically doesn't take an off season because there's moving parts of the NFL.
We will
all
certainly
fucking
be
year long.
we'll certainly be
So
touching
we're
the
going to
NFL.
keep you guys informed.
Yep.
But
Draft
other
coming
than
up
that-
in April.
Yep. And I can't wait for that. I'm very eager to see what we can possibly do with what we have, but maybe it'll be good.
Yeah.
You know?
Got a hit.
So yeah, you guys have fun, be safe, don't drink and drive. And if you are drinking, make sure it's Miller Lite. Have fun, you guys. Good night.
Rise up, baby.